King Alcohol has many forms by which he catches man. He is a beast of many horns, and ever thus has been.
For there's rum,
and gin, and beer,
and wine,
and brandy of logwood hue,
and hawk,
and port,
and flip, combined
to make a man look blue.
He says be merry,
For his good sherry,
and Tom and Jerry,
champagne and perry,
and spirits of every hue. Oh, are not these
Hey,
of
howdy,
these
howdy.
true as ever
Stole your
was of
intro.
you?
You did. I like it.
Oh, are not these
We
of
are
these
in a beautiful city of Traverse City. It's can't much but a better place to find in the summertime, right? I mean, you always got to go to Traverse City, especially for beer lovers.
Yeah, and you drugged me up here, 2 summers ago?
2 summers ago, I think we did a show up in Mackinac, and then we came down and swung down with the Cadillac, see my parents, and then stopped into Traverse City to check out some breweries, and we stopped in a little place called the Workshop Brewing Company.
This was actually one of my favorites of that
the trip. Yeah, mine too. Right Brain we loved a lot, and this is a place we saw, and I don't know I can't remember who we talked to here. We thought, man, we got to get back in here. Unfortunately, it's been 2 years, but we're glad to be back.
Nice.
We're glad to be here, actually, in here.
Well,
and,
you're very welcome here.
Thank you, sir. And that is Pete. You're one of the founders, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm the
founder
and
Nice.
yeah, kind of the idea.
Idea
It
man.
all gestated inside my brain.
The
and
brainchild.
to pass outside here.
And of course, we have the beautiful Jess Rohloff as well. Rohloff, is that what? Is
Yep.
that okay?
Yep, that's right.
And you are the PR,
I am the Minister of
the
Propaganda.
Minister of Propaganda. That's right.
That's
We have a
one hell of
revolutionary
title.
theme going
Yeah.
on in here.
And we
So-
can't thank you guys enough because we were supposed to come up and do a show at Right Brain this weekend. We're doing Clam Lake as well, and then the last minute, Right Brain, so they had another festival going on, and he was in Detroit. So he said, "Man, I hate this, guys, but can we reschedule?" And I thought, "Man, we still want to get up there." So
Well, we're
I
glad
got a
we
hold of
lucked
Jessica,
out.
and she said, "Yeah, get your asses in here." So this is awesome, guys. We thank you.
Any chance to talk about beer, we're pretty happy.
Yeah.
So are we.
Now, as the founder, are you the brew guy as well? Is that what started this all
I'm
off?
not.
Did you do any brewing at all?
Well, I did enough brewing in college to know that I shouldn't be
Shouldn't
a
be doing
professional brewer. Yeah. So I have a really terrific brewer, Michael Wooster, whose name rhymes with Brewster, which also means brewer, which I thought was a good sign.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So Michael couldn't join us today, but he's really gifted. He's got a culinary background, and he's just a really awesome brewer, and also a great dude.
Have found out culinary people actually tend to make really good brewers.
Certainly,
Yeah.
definitely has some overlap because there's all that kind of being able to anticipate how something's going to smell and taste after it goes through some other conditions that it hasn't gone through
Right.
yet. You know, it's kind of a visioning process. and
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic.
No question. But what I did do is like kind of articulate the values and the vision for what sort of place I wanted to have, and that extended to the kind of beers that we wanted to do. And so, luckily, everybody's kind of excited about the same plan, and we're all moving in the same direction. And so our beers definitely a focus on traditional styles, and we're trying to do them accurately and use local ingredients and make them fresh and delicious and serve them up in a welcoming environment. And that's, we're not going to do newfangled crap that's going to blow your head off.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is that there's a lot of traditional styles that really are seldom seen in this country, know, and so you might find a Frambozen beer on the wall here.
Nice.
And we've got an Eau de Bruine in the barrel waiting to emerge. So that we love that kind of. It's not exactly innovation; it's like retro innovation.
Right.
But we also we're really proud of our IPAs and our
A beautiful beer is a beautiful beer. I mean, and there's so many great styles out there, and there's some people who love doing the crazy stuff. And there's
God bless
a
them,
place
right?
for
I mean,
it.
this is America. We innovate, So I love the fact that there are people doing crazy stuff out there.
Yeah.
But we just aren't going to be putting meat products or dessert products in our beer anytime soon. It's not our gig. But God bless those guys that are. And
They're putting like chicken legs now and Bloody Marys and stuff and pizza, and I'm like, what?
Come on, now. What happens next?
Yeah.
Dogs and cats living together.
I don't get it, but some people love it, I guess.
And that's the thing that I remember most about this place, how clean everything was. I mean,
Thanks. Yeah. You mean beer-wise?
Yes, absolutely.
Don't look in the
not
corner.
the floors, obviously.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey now.
No, this is a great place. Love it. We had a blast, and
I think we both gravitate toward the more traditional style. And again, I like crazy stuff. We go some places, and it's cool to find one like, wow, that's really wild. But I still like the traditional style beers. I love to find a good ESB, and I mean, because just those flavors come through, and you can do that well. You can do anything well.
Yeah,
but
you're gonna have one in a second.
I'm
pretty
dying
proud
for
of
it.
our
Yeah.
ESB.
Let's sip on one of those while we talk.
All right. Well, so
Yes.
we got laid out 4 beers right now. We got 4 more coming. I lay them. As a beer guy, I kind of tend to lay them out in the order that I would taste them.
Absolutely.
But if you guys want to jump
No,
around, that's
no,
all good with
nope,
me.
No.
You're
Kind
going
of like
the order. Yeah.
we gave you free range of what we're going to sample here. So
Yeah. So
You
maybe
tell us
I'll
where
just
we start.
I'll preview it real quick. We got our 10 penny American Blonde Ale. We got our Cold Chisel Beer Blanche, a Belgian style wheat beer. We have Bastard Rasp, which is a raspberry frambozen beer, or actually it's really a raspberry beer blanche kind of. It's
Okay.
It's a take on our beer blanche, and then the Ballpeen ESB, a traditional English bitter.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a.
You're a huge fan of ESBs, aren't you?
When they're done well.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's
because
fair
I've had.
enough.
I mean, it's I've had some really horrible ones around, and I'm just like a lager. It's hard, sometimes it's hard to find a good fresh, clean lager sometimes because they're hard to do. I think sometimes ESBs can be a little. I don't know. Sometimes they're off-putting to me, but when I find a good one, I'm in love. So.
Yeah.
I just did a dangerous thing. I moved 4 beers at once, right across the middle of the table, which is covered with microphone cables. But I think I managed.
You did. You did a solid job.
So yeah,
We've had
10
a-
penny.
10 penny.
So yeah, it's American Blonde Ale, one of our best sellers. It's a beer, it's the gateway
man.
beer, real clean,
Yeah.
real easy to drink.
Yeah.
It's right where
There's you got a little bit of sweetness in there when it comes through, but it's not. It's real light.
Cowboy. Do you
nice.
share beers?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Right,
say
yeah,
I
yeah.
do. I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't
Yeah.
have cooties, so
Because I can't watch you drink it.
Oh
without
no.
drinking
As long as you're
something.
Yeah,
cool with
everybody-
herpes, we're good.
dig in. We're good.
I tell my wife,
That's nice. I like it.
honey,
It
for
came
real,
from
I got it from Cowboy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's reassuring or not.
It's not. Let's be honest. No, that's
I'm,
killer beer.
I'm not a
Come on.
huge blonde ale fan, but again, when I find one that's just tastes well, tastes good, I would order that any day of the week.
It's
Well,
light,
nice,
crisp,
really
it's
nice.
full flavored for what it is.
The
I
thing
mean,
is, if
that's
somebody
solid.
comes in and they're not there, people think they don't like beer. Usually
yeah.
they either don't like Budweiser or they don't like IPA.
Right.
Because most people have only ever tried. If they haven't tried craft beer, they think all beer tastes like an American light lager.
Mhm.
And if they have tried craft beer, typically it's some big hoppy IPA that hit them over the head, and that intimidates people.
Yeah.
So when people come in and they're like, I don't really like beer, we start them. I can almost always find something that they drink and they're like, whoa, that's beer? And I'm like, yes, it is. And there's more where that came from. So yeah.
Do you ever ask
it's a
them
great start.
what they do drink, and then try and go off a
Totally,
beer like that?
totally.
If
You
they
kinda
drink or a wine
diagnose.
drinker, or
Yeah,
you know,
you
they drink
diagnose
rum
and
and cokes.
prescribe.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Here's beer for
And we
you.
do cider and wine here as well, which we're proud of those products, and we do a nice job with those. But really, beer is our bread and butter.
I thought those. Okay, I didn't realize you guys did ciders. I thought those were from somewhere else. I seen the list up there, but
Well, we have some help from a local cider maker, but we finish them
Okay.
off here and
okay.
kind of put our signature on.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that-
yeah, that's definitely. I like it.
So
Really
yeah,
nice. It's a great
so
starter beer.
You guys, you gotta hit me up on how you got started doing this, because for a lot of people, this is a dream job, drinking and talking about drinking.
Well, we have day jobs.
Yeah.
We do this.
and I know your
for-
listeners
for
probably
the
already
fun.
know this, but for me, it's I kind of came in blind.
We
Pig.
had another
ba-dum-bum.
show. We did a show previously called Free Beer Express, and it was just us sitting around a table drinking beer and bullshitting. It was like,
Yeah.
who wants to listen to that? And but
But
us and
oddly enough,
they
our
did.
close friends did, but we weren't. It was just us sitting around drinking. This is really dumb. Let's expand this idea. And I did another show with music and entertainment in the city as well. So I had a lot of friends out there from that industry, and everyone said, "Yeah, let's do it." And we said, "Let's expand." We all love craft beer, and we're big bourbon lovers. So we said, let's try and take this, into the streets and actually do something with it instead of just sitting around our table at the house drinking. And it took off quick. One of the first spots was Dana Boy Beer Works, who invited us in, and we did our first brewery tour there. And the next thing you know, it was within weeks we couldn't keep up. I mean, they were calling us. I mean, out around Indianapolis, we can walk in anywhere now, and it's great. So.
It is a weird thing.
It took off quick. We did. We went down. We do road trips. We went down to Tennessee and Nashville, and so we went up the island and stuff. And so I mean,
Cowboy
we
brought
can't
the
keep up. The
bourbon.
festivals during the
Oh,
summertime, we cover. We had to stop doing a lot of the festivals because it was too much. It was too demanding. We couldn't do. But now they have festivals now every Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the summer.
You guys are the same way, right?
We're super duper busy, and
Yeah.
it's funny that what you mentioned, that the last people in the world that need free beer is brewers. But if we go to any brewery anywhere in America and just mention that we're in the industry,
Yeah.
pretty soon they set them up, pretty much.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's-
That's one of the other things we loved is just the camaraderie. It's just a good thing to say while we're here because it is the industry everywhere we go is such a loving togetherness, and it just if you're in that industry, you're just welcome all of a sudden. I mean, wherever you're at, which is very cool.
It is
whether in
cool, yeah.
Indiana or Michigan. It's just it's a cool.
It's definitely part of what makes it feel like home for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
Beer brings people together.
Yeah.
No
It
doubt.
does,
That's right.
doesn't it?
It's about community. I mean, our motto is nature, community, craft. So community is our middle name, and
I love that, yeah.
we really try to live those values. So
And I love seeing other brewers help other brewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens so much. I don't know up here, but in Indy, I know, like,
Oh, yeah.
especially when people first start up, the community comes together and they help them however they can.
definitely in Traverse City, you know, almost everybody who works in this industry in this town is friends with each other, and we help each other out all the time. Oh, you need a pitch of yeast, or your pump broke down, or you know you need a hand truck or whatever. People will definitely help each other out.
Aw, man.
Actually, what brought us here was, I don't even remember where, it might have been Rare Beard. I don't know where we're at, but somebody said you need to go to the workshop. I mean, that's how we found the place. And
Nice.
I didn't know.
Cool.
And it was just another brewer said, you guys need to go over here. And that's how we stumbled in here that day. And glad
That's
we
awesome.
did. But
Well,
yeah, it's just cool that the industry is like that. It's not cutthroat. And with the we have seen that in some places,
yeah.
in some cities where.
Yeah,
They
there's
don't-
definitely a couple
where
of
they
I
times.
can see
badmouth
how it can
other-
get that. We could get that way, you know. It's definitely a conscious. I feel like for me at least, I'm consciously making that effort. I want to make sure I want to foreclose or like head off that kind of development, you know,
Yeah.
in our town. I don't want to see that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Should we try another one?
Absolutely.
Well,
Cold
yeah.
chisel, Belgian beer blanche, a little bit of dried orange peel, a little bit of coriander as is traditional.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, there's something really cool about our glassware that I'm gonna let you guys in on that you may or may not have seen before. But
Is it
we-
etched at the bottom?
yeah,
Yeah.
But it's laser etched at the bottom with our logo, which is essentially a triangle within a circle. And if you it's right here.
Oh,
we call
okay.
this the glyph, the tri-fidelity glyph, which I can talk about later. But that, if you let your beer sit, which is hard to do, but if you do let it sit, the bubbles will draw our logo on the surface of your beer.
Oh,
I
no
am
way.
not even kidding you. It's a
Kind
kind
of
of
starting
magic.
to right there.
that is cool as
It's
hell.
super rad because if people just happen to neglect their beer for a second and they don't realize that, they look at it like, oh my god,
Think
how
they're
did you
on
do
acid.
that? How the hell did you do that?
That
Yeah.
is wicked.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We gotta get somebody gotta get a picture of that. So when
So
it
we
comes
had to
through.
etch
That's
that way
wild.
because it causes the aroma to like nucleate right there on the center, and it goes
Yeah.
up right under your nose, so you can get that nice little bubbles of smell. But then, as a happy coincidence, it caused this magical
Magical
drawing
designs,
to happen,
yes.
huh? Magical pattern.
I
It
can only
also
imagine.
creates this tornado effect that's really fun.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is cool as shit. Wow.
Mm.
That's
has,
nice.
has a really special taste after you've had a sip of it, Cowboy. I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Sweetens it up a little bit, does it? Oh, that's fantastic. Again,
That's a cold sore.
you can't see him anymore.
That's-
That's why I grow this out.
yeah.
That's not. I love that hint. There's not a lot of that coriander that just comes at right. Ah, that's
When
really
we
nice.
make when we make a beer with herbs or with fruit, we make a point of not of being subtle about it. Like a lot of time, if you have like we're gonna try the Bastard Rasp next. When we put fruit in our beer, a lot of times people are like, oh no, I don't like a sweet beer or something like that. But don't worry, because we're really make a point of fully attenuating those sugars to leave the aromas of the fruit and the color of the fruit. But we're not trying to hit you with the sweetness from the fruit. 'cause
right. It's not gonna get
That's like
syrupy.
we're
and-
grown-ups.
Yeah.
We're not drinking this so that
We don't
it's
want
not a
Kool-Aid.
wine cooler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a beer, and it's always amazing to me that when there's fruit in the beer, somehow people think somehow that's not beer, as if like only things that can be
Right,
beer would be
right.
something that's either a American Pilsner or an IPA. But I mean, these styles pre-existed those styles. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Saisons with peaches in them
You
or
wouldn't have-
whatever.
yeah,
that
we wouldn't
stuff
be
is
where we're at without-
ancient.
yeah.
You know, so that is more almost like if you're gonna argue over what's beer and what's not. Those beers have
They
priority.
predated
or
most,
yeah.
yeah.
I like this too. You get the sweet aroma when you put it to your face, but then but you're not getting that sweetness when you get more of the coriander.
I
and
love the
that's really
finish
nice.
too. That
Yeah.
the Belgian. There's like that roundness to the finish on it.
Yeah, I mean the fruitiness or the herbs or whatever.
It's nice.
I mean, it's very backhanded. You don't. It's not hitting you in the face. I
Yeah,
love it. It's a
I like
real
it too.
clean beer.
Thanks, man. So the Bastard Rasp is a very similar process to the cold chisels, the beer blanche we just had. The Bastard Rasp is a very similar beer, but re-fermented in steel with raspberries. So one of the things I should tell you is that our beers are made with almost every single beer is almost 100% organic grain.
Wow.
And we only use locally sourced hops now in every
Oh,
single
really?
beer. Yep.
Nice.
There's a
How
few,
hard is that?
you know, it's not that hard.
Really?
We're really proud of it, but nowadays with Michigan's booming hop industry, it's becoming easier and easier. High alpha, reasonable prices, why not do it local? To the extent that there's some hops that are, for example, like patented and can't be grown here,
Right.
we go through our local broker so that the dollars stay local.
Still,
And
That's
those
okay.
perfect,
That's
yeah,
good.
too. So that's why we say locally sourced, but
Right.
most of our hops are locally grown too, which is pretty great.
So, is there any hops right now that you're having a hard time getting?
On the details of our sourcing is really the kind of area of my brewer Michael, but I don't think we've ever had any trouble.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So we're pretty happy about that.
I know. What was it last year? People were having a really hard time getting a couple.
There's a few of them. Yep.
So Bastard Rast, you want to give that a shot?
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry to move you right along,
No,
but I can't wait.
No.
Okay.
Usually
No,
that,
no,
I
no.
can't wait
that's
myself.
not an issue. Now, where did the workshop come from? Where's that? Where did that idea start, and why did you do this? I mean,
Yeah, well, you may have noticed that all of our beers have names that relate to tools.
Mhm.
So part of my obsession is things that are made by hand, and craft. So that's why, the craft is the third word in our motto. It's all about, what I love about brewing is it exists at the intersection of history, agriculture, climate, community, pleasure. Like, there's so many things that are implicated in the world of brewing that it's just such a fertile ground to do the thing that I want to do, which is to kind of explore the relationship between the things that we do and what we eat and drink, and what does that mean about who we are and what we value, and how do we increase our well-being by engaging in meaningful work, providing products that give people pleasure, building community, protecting the environment that we're blessed with here in northern Michigan. All that stuff is all rolled up in the giant egg roll of my brewery.
Giant egg roll.
Or I don't
That's
know,
new.
what's the thing that's rolled up without some other things inside it? A burrito. Let's call it a burrito.
burrito.
The giant burrito of my brewery. That goes better with
Stogie.
beer.
You're selling me with a burrito.
I like it. All right, let's try this Bastard Rast.
And
that
that's
is
killer.
beautiful.
Isn't that
I
nice?
really enjoyed that a lot.
You
I like
say
the,
that to all the guys.
I do.
He does.
I do.
Let's
But
be honest.
I'm easy. No, this is really nice. I love the dryness that comes out of that
Right.
at the
It's
end.
not
And
sweet,
man,
yeah.
I really like this.
I mean, that is very farmhousey.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I think it's. I think Michael's using a mixed yeast for that to
Yeah.
get that finish at the end there.
man, it's
Also, I
beautiful.
think
man.
the fruit itself lends a little bit of complexity in the finish,
Yeah.
especially when you remove that sugar. You're gonna reveal the kind of what's left of the flavor of raspberry
Yeah.
when you take sugar out.
Yeah. You don't get you're not getting that syrupy sweetness at all out of it, but it's just you get that flavor and I love the dryness that comes in the
and
back.
it's not super tart. It's just
No,
it's
it's
kind
really
of
nice.
We're gonna get to a kettle sour in a minute, which is a pretty pronounced tartness as well. So
I didn't see a kettle sour up there. Is there?
It's on the seasonal menu.
Oh, okay.
Garcon.
Garcon. So Jess, how did you come about? Why did you come to the workshop? I mean, did the workshop call you? Did you come in here and have a beer and say I got to be in here? How'd that happen?
It's actually funny. I stumbled upon a month-old Craigslist job posting that the Workshop Brewing Company seeks Minister of Propaganda, and I was very inspired.
she wrote a very compelling letter.
I did. Dear comrades.
Yeah, we were pretty far down the road of filling that position.
They
and
had already
just
filled it.
thundered on the scene with this very complimentary or compelling
We've got to hire
sales
her.
pitch
Yeah.
for herself. And and Jess is inspiring and very talented.
So were you a beer lover yourself?
I may, in fact, have had a few beers when I found the job post
Mm-hmm.
and wrote that cover letter. One sitting, very, very impassioned, very inspired.
Yeah, I mean, because everyone that works at the workshop, it works here because they are turned on by the vision that we've articulated for what kind of company we want to be.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I wasn't looking for a job when I found the job post. I was freelancing. I was doing marketing strategy and writing for a magazine in Alaska, but it was partly the job title. I'm not going to lie. I was like, I need that on my resume. That's clearly
I'm already
like the
qualified.
next step. But then when I talked to Pete and he described the vision for this place and our mission and values, it's very aligned with my own personal values, and that matters to me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a good time for me just to jump in again. I always talk about tri-fidelity and nature, community, craft, and what that means to us. And, when you live in a place like northern Michigan, the beauty of the environment here is obvious, but also you have to understand that it's something that we have to nurture and protect because there's a lot of pressure on it all the time that comes from land, water, and land use, all that stuff. So we are really committed to protecting, and not only just protect. So a lot of people are like, okay, if we just don't screw shit up any further than it's already screwed up, then that's good. But we feel like it behooves us to do more than that. So when we talk about our mission, it's like to protect and restore the natural environment, to embody and reinforce our local community, and to provide meaningful work for our staff. That's nature, community, craft. It's like we have to not just fail to screw up. We have to affirmatively improve, and we are really trying to embody a different idea about what business's role in our communities should be, and that is, should go beyond enriching the boss. That's not inspiring. I mean, admittedly, we all need to make a living, right? We all need to make our money. And we all need to retire, and we all need to do our fun stuff, because fun is also integral to what we're trying to do.
Right.
But also, we ought to be giving back to our communities. Like, success should be protecting the environment and enjoying the environment. It should be strengthening our community and providing places for people to gather and have meaningful conversations and to share their ideas. And we should be providing work that feels meaningful and that is satisfying, right? That's, like, to me, and at the same time, economic sustainability is crucial, obviously. But, like, that's not enough. I used to be a lawyer. I mean, so I know what I'm talking about. I used to live in that world of people that make a lot of money, and they're not any happier than the folks that work here,
right?
Including me, because every job I keep taking pays me less and less money, right? But, like, I'm not complaining because I'm having a good time with it.
Now you're happy.
If you can pay the bills and have a better life, why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So can we be an example of that for other people? Can we be like, hey, how are they doing that? Everybody who works there is passionately committed to what they're trying to do, right? Yeah. Not only that, they're all paying really surprisingly well. Not only that, this company is growing in a really creative way that's, like, nurturing community and, just embodying awesome values. How can I do that? So for me, success is having other people come to me and be like, hey, how are you doing that? So I can spread the philosophy, right? That's why we have this kind of revolutionary aesthetic going on in here. It's like, we are trying to be revolution. We're trying to change the role of business and community, but we're trying to do it from the inside. You know what I mean? I'm not going to come here and tell people, that we're better than them or anything else. And I don't think that anybody should be telling me what to do.
Right.
But if I understand what is going to contribute to my well-being, then I understand what's going to be contributing to my staff's well-being and my community's well-being, and I'm going to do that. I'm not going to try to make a bunch of money and then come back and pay for well-being. I'm going to go direct, right? So well-being is really the guiding, underlying principle of this thing. And well-being defined broadly, it's like community-wide well-being.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So
I remember when we were here the first time, we sat up here, and I think it was a bartender who wasn't working, but was sitting back here.
Happens all the time.
And then realized that, we just, from out of town, just started talking to us, and hey, where you guys from? And we had no idea what we did, didn't tell them. And then the next thing you know, they, just had this great conversation and welcomed us in and introduced us to people, and then saying, you guys got to try this. What do you like? And it was just very cool because it was just like, and then we told them what we did, and they're like, oh, wow, you guys got to get in here. But
everyone's empowered to do that.
But they didn't care what we did. They were we were from out of town, and they were, introduced us to people, and they wanted us to try the beer, and it was just, you could tell how much they loved the place.
The customers are not a means to an end for us, right? The customer is the end of themselves. And, my staff works for the customer, and I work for my staff. Like, my job is to remove obstacles from their success and to set them up with an environment that is conducive to being awesome and to fulfilling our mission, which is nature, community, craft. Right. And if I'm doing my job, I'm, like, almost invisible. I'm out of their way. I'm just supporting people. I articulate a vision, right? Hopefully it inspires. If I've done that and it helps people to make decisions without me even having to ask me, right, then I'm doing my job. Like, just everyone be awesome. I'm watching. Believe me, I'm not just going to let shit fall apart, right? But at the same time, like, if I'm in there all the time telling people what to do and coaching them on decision making and making sure and, like, holding their hand like a little kid, then I'm not parenting properly, right? You know what I'm saying? I have kids, so I think about it that way. But, like, I mean, I don't think of myself. I mean, these people are adults and they're all great decision makers. But, like, you know what I'm saying?
This is a child for you. I mean, this is
my baby for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
Heck yeah, man. You guys, let's drink some ESB.
Yes.
So this is English. Extra, you guys know what this is. Extra special bitter, misnamed, right? Because back in the day, it was bitter compared to other drinks, but now this is way on the malty.
That's another one that people that don't understand it, they say ESB. What's it? Oh no, I don't want it. I don't like bitter beer, and it's hilarious because we get that. It's pretty
bready,
funny.
malty, low bitterness. The other thing about our beers is we have fairly moderate alcohol in most of our beers. You can't see me right now, but I'm a svelte.
I can see you.
And I'm a pretty small man.
can see
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm about a 3/4 scale man, nice. And so I don't need a beer that's 7% alcohol.
No. Well, and you sell more beer when they're lower alcohol.
Totally, and I don't mind that at all.
That's a benefit. No, that's killer.
That's, again, when I find a good one, I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy this.
So drinkable, man. I
love
that
maltiness in there. Man, that's really nice.
I mean, I don't even know about the fall. You could drink that on a hot night.
I know you could, but I'm like, I got so many other choices.
Man,
that's delicious. That's really nice.
Thank you, guys.
That's perfect now, just sitting for a few minutes and.
Yeah, the head kind of solidified on there. It's really super fun.
We even had a couple come in from England once, and they said, what did they say, Pete?
I think they said it was I don't want to toot our own horn, but I think they said it was the most authentic English bitter that they'd had in this country. Yeah. So
I mean, we've back home we've got a lot of people doing ESBs and they do them very well, but this is fantastic. I think we hit it right at the right point. Let it sit for a while.
Totally. There's nothing like
really
letting it
nice.
just come a little bit closer to room temp.
And for that sweetness to come out, but yet it's still so light.
So I went to high school in England, so I kind of had the first beer I brewed was in a house bar in my high school. So like literally, there was a boarding school. So I was living in this house in the basement in this crappy bike shed basement. We're like 16, 17 years old. We're brewing beer, and the school's like telling us that's cool. Go do that, right? I'm like, okay. It was the most horrible beer. It was total extract garbage beer, but we were like so proud of ourselves. We're 16, 17 years old down in the basement of the house that we're living in at school and drinking beer, and it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
It was
cool.
actually encouraged.
Yeah. I mean, now I look back and I'm like, can I identify the flaws in that beer? Let me count the flaws. It was like
12
it was
just off the top.
sour in a bad way. It's cardboard and I don't even know what. Yeah. But that was an introduction.
Are you from Traverse City? Is this your home, or is this your home now? Are you?
So it definitely my home now. We moved here. My family moved here 6 years ago, but my grandparents are from Detroit. We're from Highland Park, Detroit.
Highland Park.
They would summer on Crystal Lake in Frankfurt. They rented a little cottage there. My mom did the same, and then I did the same. So I brought my then girlfriend, who's from Brooklyn, New York, to Northwest Lower Michigan, and she fell in love with it, like I always have. And as we every time we'd come here every summer, we'd see Traverse City getting more and more awesome.
Yeah.
And when we decided to make the move that was going to be the place where we're going to raise our children, this was the choice we made. So
you're taking that.
Yeah. We just another whole bounty of beer just appeared on our table, but Doug over there just grabbed that ESB to make it his own.
That's beautiful.
This table's getting crowded.
I know, but in a good way.
Such a beautiful way.
Yeah.
I know.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
So
I can't get past that ESB right now.
Well,
yeah, and it was, this used to be, wine country, Traverse City, go up the peninsula, and it still is, but now it's funny, you go there and it's dotted with breweries, and, it's just...
it's a funny thing, that I'm sorry to just jump in there, but we talk about, people are always like, oh man, it's all saturated, you can never, there's too many breweries and all that. I don't hear anybody telling us there's too many wineries.
Yeah.
There's a lot more wineries than there are breweries.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, I could go on and on about that subject.
We talk about this a lot because of the, for a while, I don't think you don't even hear about it anymore, but when it first popped, especially in Indiana, because, that it boomed down there, 10 years ago. But obviously Michigan was a little bit, sooner, but people were like, oh, the bubble's going to burst. But now you're not even hearing that because there are more and more of them coming up, but it's just like anything else. There's a pizza house in every corner. There's a craft beer house in every corner, but people like to go and travel around and hit, go have a beer here and go have a beer there, and no one's doing that, and not as many people just going to your local pub and bottling up and having PBRs all day long. They want good quality beers, and so why can't it's never going to burst. Pizza houses didn't burst, that bubble didn't burst. That there's that, it's not going away, I don't think.
And to me, the community, going back to that, they won't let that happen, I don't think.
I think it's important though that you have to have a quality product.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
for a while there's a lot of people that just jumped in because I made a batch of beer in my basement that my buddies liked. I'm going to open a brewery. You can't do that. I mean, maybe
and
you
I've seen I can make money at this
10 years ago, but now you better have a quality product to get in the game. But
totally.
I think there's room for more and more. I don't see.
As historically minded guys, this is something that I often think about, which is that if you think about before Prohibition, between the Civil War and Prohibition, every single beer was a local beer. Every pub was a brewery because you couldn't carry barrels of beer on wagons very far. You know what I mean? So the notion that somehow, this is not the biggest surge in local breweries that we've ever seen in this country.
Right.
This is nothing compared to. I mean, I bet you if you counted the number of breweries in America at 1910 compared to now, I bet you we had way more back then. If you count every bar pretty much as a brewery, because they were all brewing their own stuff.
Yeah.
And that gave you that. Every town had its own thing going on, and not only that, there's the other thing about what limits the potential of more breweries starting is the ambition of a given brewery. I mean, not everybody's going to be Shorts, Founders, and Bells. You know, but
They don't have to be.
We don't distribute our beer at all.
I was
We
going to ask
sell
you
our
about
beer
that. If
here.
that was a goal that you were looking toward, or
No, it's not
Okay.
at all. We have a second location which we just opened up. We partnered with a awesome guy, Scott Pearson, who opened the Coin Slot Arcade. Now we have the Keg Stand Tap Room in the Coin Slot Arcade.
Oh, really?
Together, it's so the Keg Stand has happened. So it's a barcade over on the other side of town. Sorry about that trademark barcade infringement, whatever. So it's a bar arcade over on the east side of Traverse City, and it's a freestanding thing, and it's doing great, and it's a fun place for people to go, play some games, play a little pinball. We've got 24 something vintage arcade.
that's something I'm
Awesome.
seeing more and more of is the
Totally.
pinball and the craft beer business
Why
not,
really
right?
meshing, which is
Totally.
really cool.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, we can have this business is sustainable, standalone business without any distribution. That business is a sustainable, standalone business without any distribution. We can do it again. We can do it, and so could our neighbors. Like, this could happen in any small town, and there's plenty of towns.
Is
that have
that
small
Traverse
breweries.
City as well?
That's right
Yeah.
on the other
Okay.
side of town.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Should check it out later.
We will.
So
We'll play some pinball.
it's like,
Next
why
up.
can't breweries do it that way? Like, you don't have to be huge to
Right.
To achieve your goals. Right? You
Right.
can have a satisfying life full of
Right.
well-being and happiness without selling beer all over the state or all over the country.
Absolutely.
And we've talked, obviously a lot of different brewers and founders, and they all have different aspects of where they want it to go. And some say, no, I want to have great beer, and I want people to come here and enjoy it.
That's what
And then
I'm
we have
talking
people that know I want to sell it off, and I want to make this. I want to make $1 million, and there's.
Yeah, that's, God
If
bless
that's
them.
what you wanna
but
do,
I'm
then
gonna
do
ask
it.
them,
I
what's
mean-
$1 million for? What are you going to buy with that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how's that going to make you happier?
Exactly.
So, like,
but
I'm not trying to judge. People should do what they want to do. But
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, for me, that's a decision that I made. I'm gonna look at the goal and ask why, right? And and I do that. I'm asking why all the time.
right.
Well, you're creating a legacy.
Yeah, I'm trying to create I'm trying to create social change. I'm trying to create an example that other people can emulate. Really.
We're trying to add to the net overall well-being, among our staff, among the community, among everywhere. It's not
Yeah.
about it. I mean, money is a piece of the puzzle, but it's not the important one.
It's a
Right.
really useful tool. Don't get me wrong. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
But it's
Well,
like
it comes in handy.
there's a
from
lot of
time
other
to time.
tools too.
Yeah.
you
It's
know?
not what's making
Yeah.
you happy.
Totally. It's not,
Right,
it's not
exactly.
the
It's
goal.
not-
It's
yeah.
a means.
It's right. There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So speaking of happiness,
More beer.
More beer.
so all of our beers are named after some kind of tool, like I was saying before. Like a Bastard Rasp may sound just like a fun name, but there is actually a tool. It's a
rasp.
rasp.
Yep.
It's like a file, and there is one that's called a Bastard Rasp, which when I found out, I was like, yeah.
I'm using
But-
that.
So I want to give my brewer as much creativity as I possibly can.
I was
So
going to ask you
the
how that.
Switchblade is his tap.
Okay.
He can make whatever he wants, all that he wants. So right now we're on Switchblade number 9. That's the 9th Switchblade that Michael has made since we kind of came up with that
Okay.
idea. Actually more than 9 because Switchblade. The next one we're gonna have Switchblade 7.2 because we're starting to do like subsets of Switchblade.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, actually,
Switchblade is the tool that changes.
Right.
We already have 7.2. So the Switchblade number 7 is an extra brute IPA, which I'm sure you guys have heard of it. It's a new style. Michael Wooster was very on top of that. He read about it a while ago, and we were the first brewery in Michigan to put out a brute IPA.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's cool. There are definitely more now, but
Right.
Switchblade 7.215 is the second sort of recipe of the brute IPA that he did. Super good.
So we'll get there. So the Switchblade number 9 is a black currant kettle sour.
Black
Oh.
currant.
So we love to experiment with sours. We love to do barrel aging. This particular one is not a barrel aged beer, but it's tart on the front end, the way a kettle sour is going to be. You know,
Ryan's
what I'm
going to
saying?
love this one.
And we
Oh,
did
that's
a
nice.
we did a straw. The last kettle sour was
Blueberry
kettle
Blueberry?
sour,
It
which
was
is we
so
were
good.
we were calling it the purple drank because it was like totally.
I would have
purple.
liked to try it
I
because
know.
I love blueberries, but I have not had a blueberry beer, anything that I've even cared for yet. So I would love to try it. This
Yeah.
black currant's awesome.
Thanks.
If you like that one, you would have liked the blueberry.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
I was
They're
Yeah,
usually
I
just
like
too
blueberry.
sweet. They're usually they're overpoweringly sweet. The blueberry ones I've had.
So that
Yeah.
nose on this, you're going to get that lacto
Yeah.
nose, right?
That's
So
what
lacto,
I'm trying to figure
Yep.
out. Yeah.
you get
lactobacillus is that kind of aroma that you're getting that front end nose of this one.
There's something on the back end. They're like almost like a maltiness on the smell. I can't figure it out.
you get a popcorn aroma on that.
Yeah, that's what it is. There you go.
But But I should say that sometimes that's usually a bad thing when you're talking about beers, but you do get a popcorn aroma.
That's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah,
the flavor is amazing. That's really nice.
Yeah. So
did you like that, Ryan?
Yeah, that's amazing.
The Switchblade is Michael's experimental tab. He does whatever he wants on it. And,
any style in it.
I don't even know what he's doing until he tells me.
That's awesome.
So I think that's
so.
I do
really
smell the popcorn.
Do you smell it?
I do.
Maybe it's hit me, but yeah. And sometimes
maybe we should.
Sometimes you say that's an off-putting thing for beer, but that's really really nice.
Man,
that's really
yeah.
nice. So
it's fantastic.
You give them how much creativity and everything else. How the beers come? How do you guys come up with new beers? And you guys
so we don't do a ton of new beers all the time. We have about 8 or 9 beers, which are our standard journey beers that are always on the board.
And where'd those come from?
Who
came up with?
That was kind of me when I first started off. I was like, I want to have beers that run the whole gamut of sort of from light to dark, from malty to bitter, and sort of a nice array, so that almost everyone who comes in is going to find something that they like. Then we have another chalkboard, which is the seasonal beers or the one-offs or the barrel-aged beers, and those are kind of for people who really kind of know what they're doing or are really interested in that. Oh, we were here last fall, and then we tried your Harvest Saison in the fall, or we tried your Oktoberfest or something like that, and we want to try it again, and that'll be back at the same time as you were here last year, you know. So that's 8 or 9 on the left wall, those are the kind of reliables. We call them journeyman beers. And you got your 2 or 3 seasonals rotating in one time, maybe 1 or 2 Master Series beers, which are barrel-aged beers, and then maybe a Switchblade or 2. That's kind of what you're going to find. Plus a sweet cider, dry cider, sparkling wine, or red and white wine.
So the recipe has the Mr. Brewster. Has he been the guy from the beginning? Is that?
He is not. He's the second brewer we've had here, and so I came here with a kind of portfolio of recipes because I started a brewery in Pennsylvania.
That's what I was wondering
with
the recipes.
Yep.
Okay.
I started a brewery called Shawnee Craft Brewing Company in Pennsylvania, which is still operating. And it's actually a family business in my family out there in PA, where it's the first brewery I started. It still operates. It's kind of it's on the grounds of my family's family business, which is an old hotel, 100-year-old inn over there, and so that kind of still trucking along out there. Right. I don't have to watch that too much now. That's awesome. They're kind of taking care of that. And I came out here to kind of strike out on my own, but do my own really, so I could really fully implement my own vision of how I wanted to make this thing be.
Right.
And so that's what the workshop represents. And so I brought my portfolio recipes with me, but they've evolved to kind of out of our terroir, right? We have our own hops, we have our own kind of air, we have our own water, and so it's gonna change. And we have our own brewer, and so I want to find that balance between giving my brewer freedom and creativity and keeping a consistent personality for our place here. And I think we're doing all right.
I think that's one of the hardest things to do is consistency.
Yeah.
For somebody to come back and try it again and be like, oh, that's the same beer I had last time.
Oh God, it's hard. It's I think that skill is underrated. It's not easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you guys want to try the Brute?
Hell yeah.
I love this beer. I'm not even really an IPA guy, but I can't stop drinking this Brute IPA.
I used to say I wasn't an IPA guy because when I grew up on stouts and porters, and that's what I liked. So lighter beers, I even tended, I drink PBR. That was, my boat beer. But, I love stouts and porters, and IPAs were just, I thought they were just hoppy messes. But then, again, you got to keep going out and trying them when they're done well. They can be a beautiful, beautiful beer.
So we got 3 IPAs now to finish off.
Smells absolutely wonderful. That aroma.
It's the cool thing about a brewed IPA is it's dry, right? It's really fully fermented, so the sugars and the maltiness is very low. But the result of that is it reveals so much of the character of the hops without having to be a huge hop bomb. Yeah. What hops there are just becomes very, very apparent, right?
Oh yeah,
and really available for your palate.
That is killer.
There's a little hempiness in the aroma in that.
No, come on, now.
That's
why we like
it. I swear to
so
God.
much.
There it is, man. Hey, that's
a little.
Oh my God! I'm just smelling it. I just sit here and smell it all day. There's just
a hint,
and there's almost no bitters until the very back end.
That's the cool thing about a brew. It's like that malt is so muted.
Now, what hops are you using that?
Oh man, I'm afraid you'd ask me that.
Yeah.
I'd have to defer to. Actually, I think it's Michigan Copper.
Michigan Copper.
A special new variety. I believe it is. Don't I can't be 100% sure, but I think Michael told me that Michigan Copper.
Huh.
It's some proprietary Michigan hop. So
I'll find out.
Isn't that good? Damn.
Yeah. So that Switchblade 7 is really spectacular.
That is spectacular. That's a good word.
From there, we're gonna go through 3 IPAs, which I'm hitting you with like a lighter to heavier. So Switchblade is a brewed IPA. 20-pound sledge is our flagship IPA. It's a Midwest style IPA, heavy on the hops. Just it's kind of like your IPA, just right there in your wheelhouse if you're an IPA person. So, and the third one we're gonna try out is the Gandy Dancer, which I'm really excited to share.
What's it called?
The Gandy Dancer. A Gandy Dancer is the name of a guy who worked on the railroad. The guys that hammered in the spikes on the railroad, they called them Gandy Dancers, and so that's where we got that name from. Yeah, and actually, side note, my dad worked as a Gandy Dancer for a brief period in Alaska.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where I learned the word.
Blind Pig Confessions is the greatest podcast there ever was. My name is Dave Smiley from WZPL, and if you don't listen to this show, you're dumb.
Aloha, Pastor Poi Mahalo. It's Cluck for the Jason and Cluck Show, and this is the Blind Pig Confessions here on the internet. www.whatever.
Hi, this is Kelly from 18th Street Brewery, and you are listening to Blind Pig Confessions.
That's so different from the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, from the Brute. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's completely.
Is that the 20-pound?
Still got the nose is pretty, it's still pretty strong, but you get more malt in the nose.
Yeah, you're definitely getting more.
Definitely
more maltiness
Yeah,
in
the
that
malt
one.
comes out in it.
So much
hardcore.
more sweetness in that.
Yeah.
It's like take away the sweetness and you kind of get this dry brute.
Yeah,
IPA.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the Brute IPA, the
Good.
hops we used in 7.2 are Idaho 7 and local Chinook hops.
Okay.
Sorry, you guys. We do use Michigan copper in some things. I forget what though. Maybe in the Gandy.
Ryan liked that one.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean this is our best-selling beer.
Is it really?
Yeah.
20 pound?
20
That
pound
and
and
the
10
10
penny.
penny.
Those are the two. Because it's like both ends of the spectrum.
Oh, absolutely,
10
yeah.
pennies kind of for someone who's, maybe looking for something lighter, and they might not be much of a craft beer drinker. But the thing is about this is like even if you are a craft beer drinker, you recognize this is a high-quality American blonde ale.
Absolutely.
It's a well-executed beer.
Yeah.
We actually entered that one into GABF this year.
Oh,
It's our
really?
first
Stay
time-
tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excited?
Yeah, we're super excited.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Have you
gonna
guys
win.
been to GABF?
Nope.
No.
First time.
This is gonna be our
That's
first
what we keep talking about it. We need to get out.
I know. we
We'll
gotta
meet
get
you out there.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. We
next
just gotta
year.
do it.
Next
Yeah.
year.
You going?
We'll do it together.
All right. I'm
We'll
not
do
kidding.
we'll
We
do
need to
we'll
go.
do one
Road
from
trip.
live on site in at GABF.
Yes.
That'd be so cool.
And we might all
rent
be
a
pretty
bus,
busy
we'll
that
do a
day
road
though.
trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Oh yeah.
or
It's nonstop.
just really shit faced.
It might not be. Yeah, it might get ugly. You have to do a lot of editing in that one.
In a good way.
Let's
Yeah.
let's start out the morning
A lot
doing
of
the
slurring.
show.
Exactly. Do it first thing in the morning. Well, you guys want to try the Gandy Dancer? This is a nitro IPA, higher in
Nitro?
alcohol and just creamy and it's just luxurious. You're gonna. I mean, I think it's amazing.
I don't think I've ever had a nitro IPA.
That's beautiful.
I was
It's
gonna
almost
give
like
it, let you
Come on,
try it.
Cowboy, share.
You get a.
He's like he won't give me any.
It's like an IPA milkshake.
Exactly.
Nice.
Totally. It's like creamy,
Yeah,
right?
it really
But it's
is.
not in like a creamy kind
And
of way.
something you're not gonna think of an IPA, but as a
That velvet.
yeah, yeah. That's
I mean, like,
really really nice.
It's crazy, and it's pretty. I can't remember what ABV
I
it
was
is,
gonna
but
say,
it's pretty
what is-
high.
is
But
it?
it's easy.
I
You
think
can
it's
see yourself.
8.2 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you could just quaff this thing
Oh
down.
yeah,
You
you could
could.
slam
Live
these.
to regret it.
It's,
Man,
yeah,
that is killer.
That creaminess, you could just slam these down all day long,
Oh my lord.
dangerously.
Yeah, man.
It's so sweet. The hops are so subtle. I mean, there's a
That's
slight bitterness at the very, very back end.
Is that what you're drinking?
I don't know if it's me changing or I don't know, or beer just getting more amazing because the IPAs are coming through for me in ways that they didn't used to.
So yeah, when I'm at somewhere when they do good IPAs that I enjoy, usually everything else, because that's really really nice.
Yeah.
All three of those, I love that brute. But
Yeah.
that's wonderful. That's so unique. That creaminess in that IPA. That's wild.
Well, usually you can judge if you get something like your 10 penny.
Mm-hmm.
If that's solid,
Yeah, totally.
you know the rest of the lineup's going to be good.
That's right. It's the same way that like people don't respect American light lager for its
why?
craft. Like I
Yeah.
understand,
Why?
like that is hard
Yeah,
to
it's
make,
hard.
especially
Yeah.
like you were saying before, getting it the same every single time. That is incredibly difficult.
Absolutely.
It's really actually amazing that the American beer industrial complex chose that beer to make into America's beer because
Yeah.
that
One of
beer
the
is freaking
hardest
hard.
hard,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
But I think at that time Pilsner had just like taken the world by storm,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the whole world wanted Pilsner, so that's how it began.
Yeah.
And then it just became the de facto beer of America.
Yeah. And as much as I despise them, and as much as I hate the beer, you have to give them kudos Budweiser for what they did and the quality of the beer and how they made that.
Totally.
It's unique, and thankfully we may not be here if it wasn't for Budweiser doing what we're doing right now. You
Who
know?
knows? Yeah.
You know?
I don't know.
So they kept it going, but I'll never drink one.
But I think what you're saying is true. Like, if you can get a difficult beer like that, like an American Blonde Ale right, then you probably can get an IPA right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or an ESB right.
Absolutely, you can. And that's a fantastic. I'm glad you started us out on that because I mean you can only go.
There's no way we're gonna taste that now and have it taste the same.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
You know, you ever have a thing like sometimes, if I'm drinking one of my beers, I let it sit for a little while and it warms up so it's almost room temperature, and I drink. It's like this still tastes good.
This is a different beer. Yeah.
But it's like still good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's what's weird is like if you take a PBR or a Coors and you let that thing warm up,
Mm-hmm.
You don't want it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I almost want to throw that beer back in the freezer for a second.
Totally, just 'cause, like dull my senses a little bit. But
well, if I just shotgun it real quick, it'll be all right.
I think that's what it's made for.
Yeah, these are wonderful.
Good, you guys.
Man, these are killer.
Thanks
So
very
do
much.
you guys have plans of? I mean, do you guys sell out of can here?
We do. We
or-
canned a couple runs at the beginning of the summer here, and we've almost completely sold out. I think
Yeah?
Jess might have bought the last 4-pack this morning.
No, I think Greg did,
Oh, he
actually.
did. You know, it's actually a side note. One of the most gratifying things for me about the workshop is that I'll come in here sometimes on a night that's not super busy, and I'll look at the bar, and half the people sitting at the bar are my own staff who are off. I'm like, what are you guys doing here?
What are you doing?
But I love it, man. It means that we must be doing something right if they want to
Yeah.
spend their free time here.
Yeah.
And like sometimes like Henry's coming in on his day off all the time, and you know, I mean, I love it. It's great. It's like
I love you, but do something else.
you know, it's
No.
like family. It's like camaraderie, you know, and that's that. I feel
That
like it's very.
That
Go
even
ahead.
extends to former staff. We've got
Mhm.
regulars. We've got comrades, like members of our version of a mug club is the Comrades Club.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what those coasters are that you guys are using.
Which, by the way, are amazing. They're
Yeah.
really
Thank you.
cool.
Thank you.
yeah, Pete
And-
makes those by hand.
I was gonna say the fact that you make them by yourself is very
And
cool.
I said free time, but I know he doesn't have any. But you're obviously doing these, and they're awesome. Did you do that before? Is that something you do like to do? Some
You know-
woodworking
Yes.
and
Yes.
Well, I'm glad
And,
you asked that because like part of the reason why the workshop is called the workshop is
Mhm.
that like it's about making things by hand.
okay.
And one of the realizations I had earlier, about probably 5 or 6 years ago in my career, was that like you think that you're going to get all your shit together and everything's going to be organized, and then you're going to have time for your hobbies. You know what I mean? And then I realized, you know what, shit, if you want to do the things you love to do, you got to do it in the middle of all the other crap because it's always going to be chaotic and nothing's ever going to be organized. And if you want to do woodworking or pottery or painting or whatever, do it now. Right, just freaking start doing it in the middle of everything else because you're always going to be too busy to do
Right.
it, and just do it because everything else will find a way, you know. And so, like your beers are sitting on coasters that I made of the kind that I make for every comrade that joins our club. We drank our flights out of these wooden paddles that I lovingly crafted by hand myself. They're branded with an iron with a brand, like a literal
We
metal
literally have a brand.
that we burn
awesome.
into our stuff, and that's something that we do here in the
Right.
house.
Now,
There's
has
a giant
anybody
mural
got
next
brand-
to us that I painted
love-
myself.
Oh, you did?
You know, like
That-
and like
I love that.
Pete
Yeah.
painted the mural. Pete built the wooden frame around it.
Nice.
I sewed the
Pete
curtains.
sewed the curtains.
I know, man. I'm a seamstress and everything.
Hung the curtains. I helped a little.
Yeah, totally. But so
I
like,
love that.
it's like I want craft to be apparent in everything that we have and that we do, you know. And so that's part of my inspiration. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing beer. I mean, maybe I could have got inspired by some other thing like coffee or cheese that required like love and craft and
Mhm.
time. Like I love the fact that time is a component in the creation of beer because there's some parts that you just can't push.
Right.
You just gotta, and that's the world imposing itself on you, you know,
Yeah.
which I think is a beautiful thing. Like sometimes we think we're the bosses, and I don't think we're the bosses. We're more
no.
like, right?
Yeah.
You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
You're more of a
It's getting a little
stewardess.
deep here, but yeah, we're like the yeast is kind of the boss, and we're just like the husbandry.
Right.
We're like yeast husbandry is what
Giving
we're
it
doing.
love and making it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're the
feeding
supporting
it,
staff.
taking care of it. Yeah, right. So our job is to like set the scene and support everything else that's making the good things happen. But you know, you can tell that this whole place is like an expression of my personal philosophy about the relationship between work, income, well-being. What is it that we're doing? What does it mean? What's the point of it all? And now's the time for me to plug my podcast. Which is
Yes,
called-
absolutely. I was gonna-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to launch a podcast this fall. It's called The Hapitalist, which is me combining happiness and capitalism and trying to figure out the relationship between the two, right? Can
Right.
we use this machinery that's been great at delivering wealth to the owners and change what we're asking for and instead ask for well-being distributed broadly,
Right.
and, you know, have that be something that comes from people like me who are the entrepreneurs and the owners, can we change our priorities in ways that make us happier and then improve our communities at the same time? So that's the Hapitalist podcast, and look for it wherever you get your pod. I don't know how to say that stuff, but someday we'll get that going.
I'll tell you what. When you do start releasing, make sure we will happily support you and release you down there. You asked us earlier why we do this, and this place is one of the reasons why we do this. When we find a place like this is why we do this. We have jobs, work our asses off during the day, but afterwards we love craft beer and bourbons, and we love the people who love it. Sometimes you go into a place where they're just trying to make a buck, and they're not putting much thought into it other than I can make a good beer and who cares. But this is why we do it. Coming into a place like this and finding people who really love not just the beer but everything that's surrounding it. And
I'll drink to that, man.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Amen.
Cheers. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Not just the beer, but the people.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see this as a promotion, right? I see this as a chance to help to spread the word.
Spread the word.
We care about, right? And why we're doing what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't look at it as a promotion either. It's me a chance to just drink beer.
It's awesome that we get to do something that's
we're not actually
fun.
plugged in.
No,
this show's not.
I
should probably have told you earlier. This is going nowhere.
We got to line them up again. It's going to be even better after we've had a few of these beers.
Yeah, this is horrible.
That's such a good idea. This is just an elaborate ruse to get free beer.
Just rehearsing.
All over the country.
I wish we were.
It'd be
smart
great.
enough to think
Halfway
of
through the
that.
show, a guy would go, "Wait, is that even plugged in? The laptop's not on."
Yeah.
No. Yeah, we're in. We're good. Don't worry about it.
Super great. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, this is beautiful.
And you guys are starting to roll in pretty heavy.
I like it. Well, this time of year, this is the marathon. This is kind of the last few miles of our marathon season.
Are you guys open all week long? Do you have events in here? What else can you?
Yes.
What else? When you come to the workshop, what do you get besides incredible beer?
So, our calendar of amusements, we have live music at least 3 nights a week. We do hundreds and hundreds of hours of free live music a year.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice.
We do lots of special events. Every other Monday, we've got open mic comedy. Tuesdays, but it switches to Wednesdays, we have Jazz Jam.
Jazz Jam?
Jazz Jam. Yeah, we've been doing that for 5 years. Sort of an open.
We have some spoken word events that happen sort of monthly or so. There's one that's called Hearsay where people stand up and tell stories, kind of like the Moth Radio Hour, if you're familiar with that on NPR.
Yeah, that's a really good event.
Yep.
There's also a local spoken word series called Fulfillment where people who are doing work that is inspiring or, that's inspired get to come up and tell their story. That's really fun.
Wednesday nights right now are one of my favorites because we've got at least 3 simultaneous groups happening. One of them is Warrior Sailing, which is it's a nonprofit that works with disabled veterans to get them on sailboats and give them sort of put them on a team. It's very therapeutic. It's super cool. They do a Wednesday regatta, and then they come here instead of going to not the marina, but the
Yacht Club.
Yacht Club. Yeah, instead of the Yacht Club, they wanted to come
Yacht
here.
Club.
Nice.
Sorry, Yacht Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we
this
also
sounds
have
way better than a yacht club.
Yes. And we also have a group of gamers who come in. They bring their consoles.
Tabletops?
They bring
really?
video games like
Really?
Tekken and
We get that too, though, the tabletop game.
That's why. Yeah.
Yeah, no, these are actual video games. They bring their computer displays. They bring
No
all
way.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
Yeah, and now most recently there's a a Bible meetup group too that comes on Wednesday nights.
Wow.
They're very
It's like
elusive. We haven't actually.
Different corners of the room, everyone's doing their
Yep.
thing. I love it, It's vibrant and chaotic.
No, it's
pretty
amazing.
cool.
And then
But
next
you bring
month,
them all together over beer.
yeah,
Sure,
And that's why. Yeah, that's why this is
beer
here. That's
brings
why you're
people
doing it.
together.
Yeah.
community, man. It's our
Absolutely.
middle name.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely fulfilling the mission. And we do a lot of organizations feel like this is a natural home for them to have their meetings, whether it's organized by us and have some special deal, or whether they just spontaneously say, hey, let's meet at the workshop. And that's everything from, when there's a march in Traverse City, it ends at the workshop. I swear to God, the Women's
and
March
begins.
ended here. The
Yep.
Pride March ended here. Whatever march it is, this is where they end up.
That's
And
awesome.
I love that. It makes me feel
Yeah.
good that people feel it's a natural home for them.
Yeah.
But all viewpoints are welcome here because I think one of the functions of a place like this is to function as what I call a third place. It's not your home. It's not your work. It's that other place you go. And you might encounter people who share your opinion. You might encounter people who don't. And in a country like ours, we need places where people are encountering human beings who maybe don't necessarily agree with them. And you just had a beer together, so now you got to talk to each other like real people.
Yeah.
And that's the way our opinions get moderated. That's the way fact and fiction get separated. That's the way we improve our democracy. is by meeting other human beings and talking to them face to face.
And it doesn't happen enough
social
anymore.
media. Yeah.
What's
It
that?
doesn't
Not
happen.
social media.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, exactly. And that's it's killing things because we used to have my brother and I grew up in a house where my mother and dad were liberals and most of the family were not, but they had friends that would come over. My dad worked for P&G and they had people would come over, but they would come over and sit around the table, and I would rather be around listening to them than be around other kids because they had these great conversations.
So interesting.
They didn't agree.
Yeah.
But they would talk about political differences, and it was really cool.
That is cool.
Now some of these people, the same people who were sitting around this table 20 years ago, won't even talk to each other because of political differences. Because
Talking
of the
to people is a skill you have to practice.
Because now it's you're crazy if you don't believe what I do, and it's just sad to see what
It
happens.
is
So it's
sad.
great to see there's a place you can come in. I mean, it's important, and not seeing enough of it. We need to tune out of some of the social media stuff.
And the thing is, like, I have opinions. I have my
Yeah.
own. I'm trying to create the culture that I envision, that I believe in. Okay, but that doesn't mean that. I mean, in fact, part of the culture that I believe in is a culture where everybody has a voice, right? We all need to be able to talk to each other as human beings, and that's where the third place comes in. And as our nation has been sort of eradicating third places through zoning and other stuff over the last few decades, and now there's it's like a last stand here. I'm like, I want this to be a place where people talk to each other.
Yeah.
And so we got to be respectful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got to treat each other like human beings, and especially be respectful of people who disagree with you.
Yeah.
Most importantly,
Yeah.
know.
And that's the
that's
thing.
what we try to foster.
People who don't, I don't want to have the same thought as you and you and you, and that's what a boring place if we all thought the same, and had the same ideas, and what a boring world it would be in.
Yeah.
So, but you have to respect those other ideas, and that's what's we don't see enough of anymore.
Diversity of viewpoints, studies show, right, result in better decision making.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Right.
let's get a diversity of viewpoints, and that doesn't mean anyone gets to dominate. And
Right.
just because you got a loud voice doesn't mean you're right.
Right.
So let's hear the quiet voices, right? Let's
Amen.
listen to them
I like where
as
this is
much
going.
as the rest of them.
See what beer does.
I know, it's a beautiful.
what good beer does.
That's part
It
of
makes
why
good
this
things
is why,
happen.
This is
Yes.
why we do what we
Solving
do.
the
you
world's
know?
problems.
Yeah.
Over
One drink at a
couple
time.
glasses of beer.
We're gonna get a lot of good ideas with this, and then tomorrow we're gonna drink coffee and then get them done.
Exactly. Yes.
That's a great idea.
If
Massive
we
amounts of
remember what
coffee.
they were, I forget.
I
Well,
know
guys-
the perfect place for that too.
Yeah.
Mundo's.
Great stuff.
Yes. We got to tell everybody you got to get to the workshop. This is an amazing place. The
Thank
beer
you,
is
guys.
really is incredible. And, this is wonderful beer. If you ever get down, we were talking about earlier, but your other family place in Pennsylvania that has the
Yeah.
It reminded me of what you were talking about. That is Backstep Brewing in Crawfordsville. If you ever get down that area, it's a place you must stop. They're at an old Monon Hotel down there.
Yep.
But these guys just started up, Jimmy Burrows, and they are making some incredible beer, real nice traditional styles.
Nice.
That you would really respect.
Yeah.
And amazing beer. So if you're
That's
in
in
Crawfordsville,
Pennsylvania.
what's
Is
that?
you saying that's in
This is
Pennsylvania?
in Indianapolis,
Oh, down in
Crawfordsville,
Indi-
Indiana.
Oh, I see. Similar thing. Right. Got it.
Yep. So you're down there. But we were just talking about the styles, and you're talking about your family's place. It was it sounded just like their
Oh,
place.
yeah, man.
Very
Cool.
cool place and great
Very
beer.
nice.
But Jimmy would absolutely go nuts. He would love this place. So
Cool, man. Well, if you find yourself in northeastern Pennsylvania, you can pass through Shawnee
think we have
Craft.
to.
I'm
Check
gonna
us
look.
out
We were
there.
just we were talking about going.
Yeah, we
to
were.
we're like
On the way up
yesterday.
there, yeah.
It's beautiful country, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Well, now we have another reason to go. So.
Hit me up. Awesome,
do it.
guys.
You guys, love this show, man. Love this place. We will be back many times. So
Good.
every
Thank
time we're
you
down
so
in
much for
Cadillac, we'll
being
come
here.
to Traverse City. We will come here.
Real pleasure
So,
talking to you guys. I appreciate
absolutely.
Well,
it.
thanks for having us. I appreciate it. Love the beer.
Yes, absolutely amazing. I'm gonna. I don't know which one I'm gonna have now after this because
All of them.
I liked all of them.
That Gandy Dancer's kind of hard for me to pass up.
I'm going back after
But
the brewed, I think, and as a non-IPA guy, I'm going back after the brew.
I love that. That
Nice.
means we got a convert.
I may have to switch to a little bit darker though.
Okay, we can do that.
I need to get. A
Yeah,
little
we
darker.
didn't really put any dark beers on this lineup, but we do get those, especially in the colder weather months. We tend to have a couple.
I talked. Who
dark
is the
beers.
bar manager?
Oh, Andrew.
Andrew,
I gotta give a shout out to Andrew, who saves my life every single day. That guy
I bet,
is a
yeah.
star.
He
Andrew
knows his
Lutz,
shit. He was telling me
he's
he
the
may be
best.
putting that porter on nitro, so he said he didn't know if
Maybe
it was ready or
special
not.
for you, yeah.
He said he might be ready, and a nice fresh keg
Nice.
on nitro. So.
Or the Wrecking Bar is our barrel-aged Imperial Porter, which is
Oh.
it's only every once in a while whenever the barrel says it's ready, but it's not ready now. But
Oh.
come back and get some of that.
We
Oh.
bottled that for the first time this year, and I am still sad that we sold the last bottle.
Do you
a
do
month
special
ago.
release bottles and stuff like that? So
Yeah,
okay,
just
right.
hand bottle.
right.
Yep, hand
Okay.
numbered, hand bottled. It was amazing.
Right.
And after a bit here, I may have to get a piece of that, well, not a piece, but a bowl of that 3-bean and bacon soup.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about our food too much,
I was
but
going
our
to say,
food is,
we
we're
did,
really proud of what we do.
let's
for
put
food.
that in because I wasn't even sure if you guys, is there a kitchen
Beer
here? You
is
guys
definitely
doing
our
your own
focus,
stuff?
Yep,
but we have a full
absolutely.
kitchen. We got
Okay.
pizzas. We got a lot of smoked meats. All of it's made from scratch in-house. We got great sandwiches and a full lineup. Amazing wings. Our spent grain pretzels made from the leftover grain from our brewing.
Oh, nice.
So those are famous. So we're really proud of the food we make. Beer is front and center,
right?
But the food is, we get great reviews on our food too. So
you guys do anything like beer food pairing nights or anything like that?
all of our food is designed to pair with our beer, particularly, but and we do on occasion do those food those like paired dinners.
Good deal.
Cool,
guys, love it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
us.
Thank
No
you.
doubt.
It's such a pleasure to
Absolutely.
come back.
Cheers.
Thanks, Cheers. Cheers to you.
Met you in a haze of days, a deja vu, blazing down the avenue, trying to make a buck or two. You said you had nothing to lose, amazed I knew you were telling truth, so we blamed the days and drove out to something new. Live on a holiday stay. What we grew in the fields is what we ate. Wasn't enough to satiate the hunger in our souls. So I drank the blended cactus and you set up on the road. Where are we going? No one really knows. But in the past you never failed to follow me. Roosters crowing, it's time for you to go. I can hear a freight train whistle and left you with a jug of wine in the Louisville Strip. It was Easter time with a banjo clipped to the back upon his spine. Tin of tobacco, a bag of rice, a nomad's grip on a state of mind. You smiled back, knowing this was not goodbye. Now the rails looking for love. Had a close shave at the building, here's Billy Clyde. You followed through with being insane and dove into the country's veins. Risked it all for a better look, lost it back to write the book. Where are we going? And no one really knows. But in the past you never failed to follow me. Roosters crowing, it's time for you to go. But if you find the truth, you bring it back to me. Roast-headed, fell to hell, drowned inside a wishing well, caught a bus back home with a tale too tall to tell. Glassy eyes and a darkened mind, he sat completely paralyzed, like a ghost who'd lost his grip upon the grail. But life's a big old bitch when you see it transfixed on the pain of the past, without a hint of progress. It's a comedy, it's a scar on your wrist when you're driven everywhere you go on your regrets. They say you'll be dead if you can't get rid of all that shit that spins around in your head. If you don't wanna be another throwaway kid, gotta buy yourself a steak, God day on a red. But it's so hard letting it go. Getting visions of the open road. I know it hurts like hell to come back down and put all the